The Rockets won Game 5 last night. Today it was confirmed. Chris Paul will miss tomorrow's Game 6 in Oakland against the Warriors. Right hamstring strain. The Rockets have a 3-2 lead. CP3 was a big reason why. Our star point guard is healthy and ready. Here's Michelle Beadle with the NBA Countdown crew.
Thank you, Mr. Nagandi. Welcome inside Studio One here in New York with Paul, Jalen, and Chauncey. I'm Michelle, and yeah, that's a devastating injury for the Rockets with Chris Paul injuring the hamstring. Jalen, your reaction?
Devastating loss for that basketball team. I actually felt like the Houston Rockets with Chris Paul now had pole position clearly to win this series. Now all of a sudden with him going out, that's not going to take place. Injuries are a part of it. You never look back at the journey and see who got injured when a team does win the championship. But I really feel bad for Chris Paul because the last couple of seasons in the playoffs, he's dealt with injuries. He went to Houston. It's his first time playing in the Western Conference Finals. Had the Golden State Warriors on the ropes, and now he's injured.
Man, I'm like you guys. I mean, I'm devastated by it. I've said it time and time again. If there's one guy in the entire league that I want to see win an NBA championship, it's Chris Paul. I mean, what he puts into it, the career that he's had, he's tough as nails. I mean, goodness gracious. And truth of the matter is, that series would be over right now if it's not for Chris Paul. I mean, he's been phenomenal in the series, carrying the team with the MVP on it. So, I mean, I feel really, really bad for Chris. We all know what it's like to have hamstring issues, even you, Beads.
Thanks, buddy.
Because you've been really balling out there. But anyway.
Thank you. I feel like that
man, it sucks, man. It really does.
Yeah,
I feel bad for Chris.
I'm devastated. I mean, Chris Paul has to be one of the most unluckiest players at his caliber for this to happen to. Because, you know, besides the injury, you think about when he was down 3-1 to Houston, that was unlucky.
They was up 18 in the fourth.
That's unlucky. Then you get the injuries the next year, the following year.
Yeah.
You know, he has a hamstring versus the Spurs. You know, and when I was a Clipper, he broke his hand. And then this year, he's so close. I mean, you know, for goodness sake, basketball guys, give the guy a break. I mean, hopefully he can come back. I hope he can come back in Game 7 and, you know, to somewhat, you know, some kind of help. But because this has just been...
Even if he plays...
And I'm just talking about an NBA history. Because how close he's been there to getting to the top of the mountain and just been derailed by injuries or just bad luck.
So the extra couple days they're buying, it's not enough, is what you're saying. So this isn't a strategy thing where, you know, you play the odds, you're not going to beat him twice at home, so maybe keep him out of this one and then come back to Houston for 7.
This is definitely not a strategy.
All right, fair enough.
No. This is an issue.
Bad.
Hamstring gonna take some time.
Houston, we have a problem.
All right, let's talk about our game a little bit tonight because we all know LeBron is going to show up. That is never in doubt. But I ask you, which other Cav do you need to see step up the most?
Their other all-star, Kevin Love. I mean, he's been pretty pedestrian in the series. I mean, he hasn't had big impact. He's averaging 15, 11. I don't care about numbers. They've been hollow numbers, in my opinion. There's no impact behind it. So when you talk about the other guys, he was never in that category. He was the other all-star. Now we group him with the others. He's going to need to have a big night.
I'm rolling with Mr. Big Shot. I'm taking Kevin Love, too. The reason why they started Baines, they said that his productivity wasn't going to be enough to beat him.
I'm gonna say George Hill because, you know, he dictates things at the top, but his penetration, his drives and kicks, he has to have a big game for them like he did in game, what was that, 3? When they came back home. He has to be big for them.
Fair enough. We're back with a little NBA countdown to the bottom of the hour. Back to you guys.
Come on and watch us.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Beads, thank you. By the way, Jalen's jacket, woo, smooth. J.R. Smith decided no jacket required, no sleeves either. They're going to need something from him tonight. 26 points in the series, 20 of them coming on his home floor in games 3 and 4. They need production from the other players. We'll see if we get that tonight.
It's hard for me to believe, but it's been 8 years since the decision, 8 years since the guarantee. We'll never forget this, right? Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. They kept going. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. They did bring 2 more championships to the Heat before LeBron took his talents back home to Cleveland. And here we are again, less than 2 months away from another decision for LeBron James. But as David Medeman tells us, for now, LeBron's sole focus is leading this franchise back to the NBA Finals for the 4th straight year. And it all comes down to tonight.
The impending free agency of LeBron James sends the impact of this collapse to another dimension.
You've seen the clip undoubtedly dozens of times by now, if not more. LeBron James, following a playoff loss to the Boston Celtics, tore off his Cleveland Cavaliers jersey before he even made it to the locker room.
And Cleveland fans wondering if that's the last time he'll take off a Cavalier jersey.
The year was 2010, and the moment signaled the end to LeBron's first stint in Cleveland.
And this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
The ghosts of LeBron's past will be in the building for Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, when, once again, he faces the Celtics in an elimination game. And once again, it comes in a playoff run leading up to an offseason rife with speculation as to what LeBron will do.
I don't believe that he has a great option out there right now.
With all the question marks swirling around him these days, LeBron's allowed his mind to escape in a good book. During the conference finals, he's cracked the spine on The Alchemist, the book coming to him as a gift from his longtime athletic trainer and friend, Mike Mancias. The Alchemist tells the story of an Andalusian shepherd boy named Santiago, who sets off to discover his personal legend while journeying through the North African desert. A line from the book, often cited for its inspirational message, reads, quote, "When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it." What does LeBron want right now? Where is his head at facing another career crossroad against the Celtics? He told me after the Cavs Game 5 loss, quote, "I like the challenge. If you put the challenge in front of my face, I'm going to go for it."
Cleveland! This is for you!
LeBron believes his personal legend is already secure. He's found his purpose. He has his family. He still loves the game of basketball all these years later. His journey has led him to here, in this moment, a player on the Cavaliers trying to win a game in Cleveland in front of his home fans on a Friday night. In other words, his jersey is still on, and it will stay on, so long as he can find a way to win.
Gabe McMenamin reporting much more. Let's go to the queue. Rachel Nichols from The Jump joining us now live from Cleveland. And Rachel, you know, that's the LeBron side. Let's go to the other side. How much confidence do the Cavs have in their role players tonight?
Well, at least they're home, right? So historically, that has been a good thing for them in this playoffs. It's funny, we had Richard Jefferson on The Jump today. He was, of course, part of the Cavs team that won the title. And I asked him, how do you know when you're going to get good J.R. Smith or bad J.R. Smith? And he just looked at me and he said, if I knew that, I would be talking to Ty Lue about it. They really, look, there's no way to predict this, but Ty did say that talking to J.R. at shoot-around, going with him through the day, he has confidence we're going to get aggressive J.R. Smith tonight, that he's going to be looking to knock down those shots. And when he's doing that, it really does energize the whole rest of the team. Different guys on this squad have different roles. He is a hype guy, no doubt. And when he is hitting it, especially those three-pointers, it just infects everyone. It also improves not only his defense, but everyone else's defensive engagement. So look for that early.
All right, so I see some Celtics behind you shooting it, and I want to know what the mindset of the young Celtics players tonight, considering they are 1-6 on the road.
Yeah, they got that against them, and then they also have just the fact that they haven't been in this situation before, right? The idea of closing out a series to get to the NBA Finals, that is a huge, towering event. And yet, when I asked Brad Stevens about it, I was just walking through the hallway with him. He looked at me and he said, this team, they're just not scared of anything because they've faced everything already. So they don't think there's something that they can't do. Instead, it's almost the flip side. They're a little bit too naive sometimes of realizing what a huge, huge achievement it would be to win this game tonight. He said they're ready, though. They're aggressive. They're like little peppies out there. They just want to go for it. We'll see if they do that tonight.
Sometimes it's good not to know what you're actually facing. The Celtics now 8-1 favorites to win the NBA championship. They were 100-1 at the start of the playoffs. Rachel Nichols live from the Q on SportsCenter as we get you set. By the way, the playlist, the Q so far has been fantastic. We have Pearl Jam and Wu-Tang playing right now. Marcus Morris, what do you got tonight? Held the Cavaliers to 3 of 10 shooting and 9 points in Game 5. Is that defense ready to show out tonight? We'll find out.
You got to do what makes you happy. I'm going to do what makes my city happy, and that's why I came back. I love you. I'm back.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again.
I understand how much I mean to the city.
Cavs will go home, but will face elimination at Clinton Loans Arena on Friday.
It was exciting for the fans, exciting for the city. It's worth having, and it's supposed to be there, and you know, it'll always come back.
Here's a look at some of the memorable LeBron Game 6 performances. Went down 3-2. 2016 Finals, nearly had a triple-double, 41, 11, 8 rebounds, and the Cavs win against the Warriors. We all know what happened in Game 7. 2013 Finals, LeBron's triple-double, propelling the Heat to a crucial Game 6 win over the Spurs with a little help from Ray Allen and that triple. 2012 Eastern Conference Finals, LeBron, there it is. LeBron had one of his more meaningful and memorable games of his career. 45 points, 15 rebounds. The Heat would win that series and the title. Meanwhile, back in 2010, the first tenure with the Cavs ended with a Game 6 loss in Boston. The last time King James didn't reach the finals. Michael Wilbon now on the potential end of that streak.
That sure to affect tomorrow night's Game 6. We'll talk about that. But tonight, all the drama is in Cleveland.
The NBA Finals
LeBron James has never been eliminated.
Because that's exactly where he's lived throughout the prime of his career. From the time he was 26 years old until now. 7 seasons, 7 trips to the NBA Finals. An incredible streak in peril tonight. And in that time, LeBron James has become to the NBA's championship series what Babe Ruth was to the World Series in the 1920s, what Joe DiMaggio was to the series in the 40s, what Maurice Richard was to the NHL Stanley Cup Final in the 50s, what Bill Russell was to the NBA Finals in the 60s, Magic in the 80s, and Jordan in the 90s, and of course, Tom Brady to the Super Bowl in the aughts and teens. Beyond these 7 trips, we've become familiar, make that dependent on LeBron's presence, his brilliance to the very last drop of every NBA season. First leading the Heat, then the Cavaliers. Along the way, there were battles with Chauncey Billups, with Dwight Howard, with a healthy Derrick Rose, with the Celtics of Pierce, Garnett, Rondo, and Allen, with the Spurs of Pop, Timmy, and Kawhi, and of course, the trilogy with the Warriors. With different teammates coming and going, from Boobie Gibson and Big Z, to D-Wade and C. Bosh, to Kyrie and K. Love. In fact, the changing cast of characters and venues reminded us he could seriously threaten to win a championship anywhere with almost anybody, Hall of Famers or a starless ensemble. With apologies to Shaq and Kobe, to Durant and Westbrook, and even Steph Curry, LeBron has been the league's most compelling single figure since he reached the NBA Finals the first time, back in 2007. Even though the Spurs swept him aside for the championship. A sport utterly dependent on stars was blessed by a combination of Jordan and Magic, a showman with team instincts. We didn't know in 2007 he'd become a fixture in the final days of May and the first 2 weeks of June, that the drama of a global sport would come to center on him. The people who once hated LeBron, the ones with good sense anyway, came to appreciate, if not love him. And now he could be bounced from the playoffs prematurely in this context. Maybe he could be playing for the final time in the jersey that said Cleveland, the place that got from the hometown kid finally when it couldn't get from the Indians and Browns for more than 50 years.
Cleveland! This is for you!
The only thing stranger than LeBron being out of the playoffs early would be the possibility his signature late spring runs could be over entirely. The Celtics will be better. The Sixers are coming. Youth, even in the NBA, must be served. But for a particularly long time in modern professional sports, LeBron has put everybody else on hold and transfixed us with a blend of talent, intellect, and guile at a level that only the greatest ever have known. And even after 15 physically and emotionally exacting seasons, he may again be going somewhere new, but fortunately not away.
Mark Jackson joins us now live from the Q in Cleveland, part of the broadcast crew. 48 hours, Mark, after you and many others used the word exhausted to describe LeBron James during Game 5. And now his season is on the line, plain and simple. In your opinion, how much more can LeBron do for this Cavs team?
Well, to me, he can do a lot more. And I think he needs a lot more help also. He has every right to be fatigued. He has every right, absolutely, to be tired right now. What he's doing on both sides of the floor
the attention to detail that the Celtics are throwing at them by throwing multiple defenders, trying to keep them worn out. But there's no excuses right now, and we expect greatness from the great ones. So for LeBron James, he's got to make sure he does his part. And if I'm Ty Lue, I try to give him quick breathers, extended breathers towards the end of the quarters to try to keep them fresh and make sure I pick and choose when to take them out because they're going to need them tonight.
And here's the thing, he's always good when facing elimination. Played in 21 elimination games and averages 33.5 points. That's the most in NBA history. He relishes these moments, as you well know, Mark. And I know you watched last night's game in Houston. Now that Chris Paul definitely out tomorrow night, this, to me, seems to be the biggest, most important game of James Harden's career. He has struggled in the last two. Mark, what do you need to see from him tomorrow night?
Well, he's going to be fine. Certainly having Chris Paul healthy and whole makes a difference. His ability to take the pressure off of James Harden to have to be great every single possession gives them a chance to still be hanging around and having the champs on the ropes. But James Harden is going to play much better. Struggling, I believe, 0 for his last 20 from three-point range. I thought he made the proper adjustments down the stretch, turning the corner, becoming aggressive, getting to the paint area. They need him to be special. But just like LeBron, the pressure also is going to be on the supporting cast. Eric Gordon is more than capable of coming and giving a scoring punch. Their defense has been outstanding. But this is a championship team that they're facing that's not going to lay down.
And with Harden, I mean, people still talk about what happened last year in the conference semis against the Spurs where he disappeared. So a chance for redemption certainly tomorrow night without Chris Paul. Mark Jackson, thank you, sir. Look forward to your call of the game here on ESPN tonight. Still to come as